Hello, guys. So, the question today is, do I save or do I invest? And it's a question that many of us ask, whether you own a business or you work for a company as an employee. There is this nagging question, this nagging contrast of, do I save money or do I invest money? And some of us, it's easy to understand what it means to save, as we may assume, and it's a bit more complex to know what it means to invest, as again, we may assume, because investment isn't as complicated as it has been made to seem. Savings or investment isn't something that I was very good at. I think that I could have begun earlier the culture of either to save or to invest. But I began, maybe in my late 20s. Yes, I think so. But I could have started earlier. And the moment I began the culture of either of the two, I began to see the real power of it. A few years ago, I was invited to speak at a very big meeting. And after the meeting, I was called on by someone very senior. I don't want to name the profession, but very senior. And he said he wanted to talk to me. And the issue he had was that he had served for over 30 years. And in those 30 years of service, working for the government, he had saved a lot of money in millions, tens of millions. The issue was he was asking me that he has savings, but he has no idea what to do with the savings. And now he's about to retire. So there is so much money in the account that he has, carefully saved across the years. And now it's almost time to retire, and he has no idea what to do with the millions he has saved. Now, that begins to raise a thought in my mind that should we be asking, do I save or do I invest? Or should we be asking, how do I save and how do I invest? Because I'm not sure that any of them was designed to replace the other. I'm not sure that savings was designed to replace investment or investment designed to replace savings. I think that savings and investment are things that we all need to learn. Now, this great citizen has served for over 30 years, has an amazing savings. He's now done with work and about to retire, and he wants to start learning from the cradle how to invest. How do you start learning how to invest at 60, 65 years old? You see that now? So he has, let's call it even 100 million in the account. Now, however much that seems, if you have savings stock in the account and you have no way to increase its value, the moment you take 10,000 out of 100 million, it suddenly becomes less than 100 million. And then that decrease continues perpetually until 100 million becomes 1 million. You see that now? So savings can be very powerful, but back to the question, do I save or do I invest? So I will do this. I will try to define, in my views, what I think investment is, and I'll try to define, in my view, what I think that savings is, and then we can begin to analyze the two subjects. Is that okay? So I'm going to try to move as fast as possible and be very academic about this lecture. So if you're writing, you write. If you can't write, you watch the video again. Investment, in my definition, is engaging financial resources or other forms of resources for present and future increased benefits. Should I say that again? To invest means to engage financial resources or other forms of resources for both present and future increased and improved benefits. So when you are investing, you are engaging, first of all, financial resources. But I don't want to limit our minds to just financial resources, because you can make investments that may not involve cash. You can invest in goodwill. You can invest in network. You can invest in learning. You can invest in intellectual properties, right? And it will play the same role in the future as cash investment would. So investment is when you engage financial resources or other kinds of resources, both for present and for future improved or increased benefits. And the reason why I added present there is that investments are not only done with future goals in mind. You can do an investment for which you want to reap today, right? I can buy something today, I want to sell tomorrow. I mean, right, almost immediately. So investment is basically when you engage available resources, financial resource or other kind of resources with the objective to increase its benefits in the future or in the near present. Does that make any sense to you? That is investment. When you engage available resources with an objective to increase benefits in the future. Does that make any sense now? Now, what is savings? Savings is money that is set aside, again, from available resources. Now, savings is more typical to money, right? So savings is money set aside from available resources with the objective of solving future needs, and hear this now, or creating and embracing future opportunities. Is that making sense now? So let me say it one more time. Savings is money that you set aside from your available resources. Available resources, whether it's 10,000 or it's 10 million. Anyone can save, right? So savings is money you set aside from available resources with the objective of solving future needs. Or, this is the second part is very critical, or creating and embracing future possibilities or future opportunities. Now, the second part here, I will talk more about that much, much later when I teach us on cash portfolio. And you realize that many people have missed out on opportunities because they are not liquid. There are many times that I have procured things, whether it's lands or cars, only because I had cash available. So someone comes to me and says, I have a land I want to sell, and I'm in need of 20 million naira, right? Meanwhile, that land may be worth double that estimation. But because he's not liquid, he needs to forego his land for the cash. And because I am liquid, I buy the land half the price of its true value. So when you have savings, it helps you to either create opportunities or to embrace opportunities in the future. Is that making sense to you now? Like the senior citizen who came to me, if there was a land for sale, it would be easy for him to quickly latch on it because he's liquid. So savings gives you that potential to be able to create opportunities and embrace opportunities in the future. And also it helps you to meet future needs of either your children, your family, yourself in the future. So savings is critical. Now, having seen these two definitions, I'll still ask again, do I save or do I invest? Bear in mind that both of them have a common denominator. And the common denominator between savings and investment is improved future benefits. So whether you invest or you save, there is a common denominator. And that common denominator is to have the capacity and the potential to improve future benefits, either by creating or embracing future opportunities. Is that making sense to you? And the vehicle of investment or the vehicle of savings can help you arrive there. So what I would say is this. I think, I may be wrong, but I think that investment is a type of savings. And savings is a type of investment, right? I truly believe that when you are saving money, in a way, it's an investment you are making. Because when I buy a land for 5 million naira, I have bought, yes, an asset at the value of 5 million. That could even be the actual market value of that asset. And if in 5 years I am in need of cash, I can sell that asset for maybe 7 million naira. Maybe, because the value may have increased depending on the location that the land was purchased. So I can sell that land and recover 7 million. If I'm even desperate, I could sell the land at the same 5 million and recover the 5 million. Am I correct? So in a way, by buying that land, I have saved the money. Yes. So when you put money in an investment, in a way, you are saving the money. Right? And then when you save money also, in a way, you are investing the money because the volume of that cash is seated somewhere for future use, which is about the same thing that the investment does for you. So I would say that savings is a type of investment, and investment is a type of savings. Is this making sense at all? Good. So let's dig a little bit into savings. We'll try and do that in the next 30 minutes. And if we can get into investment, we will. But if we can't, then we'll try and maybe spill this into a second episode and talk about investment. So write this down if you're writing. Under savings, and this is very fundamental, the true value of savings derives its virtues or its merits from the habit of savings and not just from the volume of savings. The true value of savings derives its values or its virtues, I beg your pardon, from the habit of savings and not just from the volume of savings. So once you are committing yourself to saving money, the real goal there is to cultivate a habit of saving. And do not put a lot of emphasis on the volume of what you have saved. Many times we put so much attention on how much have I saved? How much have I saved? No, put the attention on the habits of saving. So if you want to save, let's say you earn 50,000. I want to save 5,000 every month. Let the emphasis be on saving 5,000 every month. Even if after 1 year, all you will save is 60,000. And you're like, oh. So it's like I just earned by savings 10,000 naira above my salary. But the culture of that thing you are doing is actually in the long run a better achievement than the money you have saved. Just being able to cultivate that consistent culture and say, no matter the problem from my village, I will put aside 5,000 naira every month. That in itself has more merits than the volume of cash that you're saving. So always note that there is virtue in the habit of savings for those of you who want to save. Now, I'm not sure that I am particularly wired to save. I am a terrible person when it comes to savings. And because I understand that, I employ the channel of investment as my own medium of saving. So I am an addicted investor because I am bad with savings. You see, saving simply means that, and I'll talk about that here, that when you save, you learn to let money rest. Write that down. Learn to let money rest. Some of us, when the money enters our account, our blood begins to beat. Tew. It's like the moment the money enters, there's a compulsive energy. Tew. You start calling your friends. Bro Mike, Alpha, do you have any problem? Alpha, that rent, you don't pay him. Because you feel a need to use the money that you have been pursuing a job or a business for, let's say, 6 months. And then finally, they just paid you the 18 million naira. Your blood will just be hot. That money must do something now. Do you understand? Many of us will lack that capacity to let money rest. And you cannot build that culture of savings if you can't tame yourself enough to let money rest. Now, even as an investor, if you cannot let money rest, there's a high tendency that you will keep investing in the wrong things. Because the moment you make a large sum of money, you feel a compulsion to quickly invest. And in that tendency to quickly invest, you may end up quickly investing in a very stupid property or a stupid investment because you just can't let money to rest. When certain money comes into your account, when you get a windfall, a breakthrough, some kind of huge bonuses from your office, can you just leave the money in your account? Can you just leave it for 3 months? Is it possible that 1 million enters your account, 500 million enters your account? Can you just leave it for 20 days? Can you just look at the alerts for 20 days and don't touch it? Is it possible? There is usually that necessity drive inside us. What land can I buy? What house can I buy? What car can I buy? What trip can I make? What holiday can I have? Because there's that need to engage money. And usually, that compulsion is a trap. The compulsion to quickly engage what just came as an inflow is a trap. There is a maturity in financial intelligence to suspend your need to engage money. Can you just wait a few more days? Can you just wait a few more weeks? Can you just wait even one whole year? Even when you come into the sphere of investment and you are negotiating an investment, there is strength in delaying the investment. There is when to engage very quickly, but many times you need to engage very slowly. Because in that slowness, you will uncover the truth about the nature of the investments. So, to be a person who saves, to cultivate the culture of saving, you must learn to let money rest. On savings again, if you are not making more money, you should be saving more money. Right? Savings is one of the ways to multiply what is not increasing. Right? So, if you are not making enough money, one of the ways, so let me explain now. I used to say to our managers in our companies that if you can't have more inflow, you must minimize the outflow. If we are not making more, then we must find a way to spend less. So we must find a way to achieve what we are achieving with far less if we're not making far more. So if our monthly profit is, let's say, 5 naira, and that has been the case for the last 1 year, and we want to make more money, if we can't get more customers, then we need to find a way to reduce what we spend to operate the business. Can we reduce the money we put into diesel, into petrol? We have to find a way to now begin to rework the logistics. Yes. So again, for a monthly earner or a business earner, if you can't make more money on your job or on that business, then cultivate the habit of saving more money. I promise you that savings will not kill the business. There are many things that you're doing that can wait. They can wait. So test it by savings. If you are not making enough money, try to start saving more money. Create that culture and then test your endurance. Test it. And I learned this better during the COVID-19 pandemic. I realized that the things that we thought could never wait began to wait. Many of us don't even have any salary for those first 3-4 months because there was lockdown. And then all the problems that we thought could not wait became very patient. Suddenly. And it became clear to me that truly, problems can wait. No, problems can wait. In fact, many things that we call problems are looking like they are problems because we are unwilling to wait. If you wait a bit longer, you realize that the thing that was problem yesterday will not look like problem again today. If you just can sleep over it, that urgency that they called you from the village about, if you wait 3 days, that urgency will die. Right? Because problems can wait. And in talking about problems, if you wait for all problems to be solved before you can save, you will never save. You know why? Because problems will always appear to outweigh income. I think there are very few human beings on earth that can say that their income is more than their problem. There are very few human beings, very few of the few human beings that can say that their problem is less than their income. Because the more you earn, it's like problem responds to earnings. It's like the more you are making money, the more problems are finding your address. And it's almost impossible for your income to outrun your problems. Have you noticed it? Once your income runs to 2 million, your problems will enter 2.5. Suddenly, it will pick the pace. Once your income hits 10 million, from nowhere, as you are getting the alert, as the alert is entering, 10 million, just give it 30 minutes. Your problem will just reach 12 million. Suddenly, from cousins, from enemies, from your pastor, from your village, from your business, do you say the generator has spoiled? The generator has been working normally since when the money was at 2 million. Suddenly now, 10 million just entered, then the engine will just knock. They say we now need 3 million to buy new engine for generator. As though the gen was waiting for the alert. You see what I'm saying now? So usually, it always looks like our problems outrun our income. It looks like our problems usually outweigh our income. So if you are waiting for a day that your income will outweigh your problems, you will never save. So you will save regardless and in spite of the problems that confront you, right? And part of the way to outpower the problems in the future is the cultivation of that savings that you are doing. So that a day will come that it will appear as though you have more money than your problems. Because that day is possible. Do you know what I'm saying? The day is possible that you actually have more money than the problems. And one of the ways to make that day possible is to keep saving your monies in spite of the problems that confront you. And the more you do that, the more you now be able to filter true problems from urgent problems. You know, there are two different things. You know, there's true problem and there are urgent problems. But we are more driven usually by the urgent problems. Am I correct? Especially in Africa. We celebrate urgent problems. We take time to lecture our loved ones the urgency of the problems in our lives. Is that making sense? Yeah. So if you wait for all your problems to be solved to save money, you will never save because problems will always appear to outweigh your income. Now, the next thing I want to say is that target your savings to achieve a substantial goal. Target your savings to achieve a substantial goal because this will become a key motivator. In case you lack the motivation to save, find something in your mind, in your future, that you can peg as a target for your savings. Do you understand? It drives you, it motivates you, it gives you a sense of reward when you save. If I say, for example, that I want to save money to buy a land. Let's say I'm 18 years old, or let's say I'm 21 years old, and I say I want to buy my first land at 25. You know, the moment I set that goal automatically begins to give me a sense of meaning in whatever earnings that I have. The monies that come into my hand now begin to make more sense because there's now an objective, a goal in the future for which I can engage the money. So when I'm saving and I say I want to buy a land in the next 4 years worth 5 million naira, it gives me some sense of purpose in the savings. It's usually more powerful to save that way than to save without any objective. It's even possible that when you attain the savings measure, that goal of 5 million, it's very possible that you may not even buy the land eventually. But having the plan to still buy that land is a good drive to be committed to the act of savings. So when you save, it's very important to set a target to achieve. So targets for your savings will help you commit to the savings. So whenever you save, you can even have two savings accounts and say, I will target the savings to achieve this goal. I will target that savings to achieve this goal. This savings is strictly for my children's school fees. This savings is strictly for future investments. Are you saying that now? So this savings is what I put aside, and it's from here that school fees will be paid. This other savings, nothing touches it for the next 5 years. Because in the next 5 years, we want to go and buy a property in a real estate company, right? So put a solid goal as a clear focus for your savings, even if you want to reward yourself. Say, I want to save money to buy a wristwatch. It's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? You can save money with a sense of reward. That excitement that you feel that the watch I've always wanted, if I can save for 3 months, for 6 months, for 8 months, I will buy that wristwatch. That is a good motivation to create the culture of savings. But when you save very blindly and somebody comes from nowhere and asks to borrow the money, very easily you give it. Because you don't even have any goal. You know, you say things like, I even have 3 million. No, I don't even know. I don't have anything to do with it. You see what I'm saying now? Yes. So you need to have that sense of clear vision and target for what you're saving. So let me give you another definition of savings. Is that okay? Yes. So savings is also putting money aside from your current earnings for future prospects or problems. So the real emphasis of this one is the problems, right? Is putting money aside for future prospects or problems. You know, we said that your problems always outrun your income. But one of the ways to overpower your problem is to create a savings culture that eventually has the potential to outweigh unforeseen problems. So I have a policy about the future. The policy about the future is that prepare for a future that may be better than what you expected, and prepare for a future that may come with more problems than you expected. Prepare for the future. That's how to prepare for the future. Prepare for the future for problems that you do not expect, and also prepare for the future for blessings that you do not expect. Now, many of us, in our minds, not in our habits, in our minds, we tend to prepare more for problems that we do not expect. In our minds, are you hearing what I'm saying? Not in our habits. There's no virtue when you prepare for problems unexpected in your minds and not in your habits. The way you talk, the way you dress, the way you even pray, the way you think tells me how prepared you are for unexpected problems in the future. Because your habits and your character and your culture, your daily culture, must show me that you are preparing for unexpected problems. Yes. You see, because if you don't have the internal strength to prepare for future problems, one old man on the street can annoy you one day, you will slap him to his death. Because when your younger sister made you angry, you always slap them at home. If you were putting the effort to cultivating the culture to refrain your hand from slapping, you would have saved yourself from the accusation of killing an old man 20 years to come. I see what I'm saying now. The reason why many of us get into many problems in the future is that we don't commit ourselves today to the habits that we require to develop against future problems that we do not expect. So, but when you do that also, you also must prepare for blessings that you do not expect. So, when you save money, you are also preparing for the blessings that you do not expect. Because the land you have always wanted to buy that you thought was 100 million will land on your table in 5 years at 10 million. But you didn't prepare for it. You see my point? You were preparing for the raining day. And you know that's what they teach us, prepare for the raining day. Prepare for the raining day. Yes, savings is to help you prepare for the raining day. But also your future may turn out better than you expected. And some of us have missed that beauty in those future because there's nothing saved up to embrace it. No, we said from the beginning that savings will help you to create opportunities and embrace opportunities, right? It also helps you to solve problems. Your sister is in trouble, and the only thing needed is maybe a few millions, a few thousands. And you're able to help her only because you have savings that's prepared for that unforeseen problem. However, your sister also may have an opportunity to attend the best school in the world. And they need just a small token that if you had saved, you would have been able to embrace it for your sister. And that can change the entire story of your entire family. You see that now? So, let me say this carefully. Many of us are begging for things that we can build. Oh my God. You didn't get that. Should I say it one more time? Many of us are begging for things that we can build. Oh my, this is so deep. The business that you have been waiting for somebody to borrow you money or to invest money in you. You know, you have been waiting for your uncle for 10 years now. That one day he will give you the 1 million you need to start the business of your dream. That 1 million you have been begging for and waiting for 10 years. If you had begun saving just 3 years ago, what you are begging for, you had the ability to build it. You had no business begging for it if you had committed yourself to building it. There are many things, many opportunities, many dreams, many possibilities that we are begging for that we have the capacity to build. And we have no business begging for it if only we committed to building it. And in many cases, this is shocking, but I'll say it. In many cases, if you commit to building, it's a shorter time to build than to beg. Let me allow that to simmer. Let it sink in. In many cases, if you commit to building and building on time, you will save yourself. Begging takes longer time than building. I'm telling you, in this case, begging takes longer time than building. Because when you keep feeding off begging, you will beg for a long time. Even if I give you what you begged for today, you will still be in that state of begging for a very... The man who was building while you were begging will eventually overtake the man that is begging. Is that making sense to you? Because if you beg for A and I give it to you, you will still beg for B. You will beg for C. You will likely beg for... you keep begging for every phase of your life. But if you are committed to the culture of building 1 block at a time, 2 blocks at a time, 1 stick at a time, 1 cement at a time, in the long run, you will outrun the man that is committed to achieving anything by begging. So when you save, you are building something. And the thing you had hoped to begin doing in the near future, you can build it by the blocks of the little drops of savings that you're doing now. And have you come to learn that it's easier to give to those who already have? Have you found out? Have you noticed it? Have you noticed it? That we tend to give to people who already have. It's easier to give to somebody who already has than to give to somebody who doesn't have. Have you noticed that when millionaires or billionaires have NGOs, let me say it again. When millionaires or billionaires have NGOs, people tend to give more support to those NGOs than when an ordinary person, an everyday person, needs even just 20,000 naira to run their NGO. Nobody will give to that person. Why? The billionaire who has an NGO has billions to fund the NGO, but we still tend to want to give more to that billionaire than the one who does not have. Even the Bible says it. To him that has, more will be given. You see your Bible? Is that in your Bible? To him that has, more shall be given. Yes. So there is a tendency to give to people who already have. So imagine you come to me, for example, and say, I want to begin a business. I want to buy a land. And it's for 10 million naira. But I've saved myself 7 million naira. I just need 3 million to buy the land. What do you think I would do? I'll give to you quickly. Oh, you have even saved 7 million. And you need just 3 million. I will give you now. You need 1 million naira. You say, I've saved 700,000. Even 500,000. I just need extra 500K. I will give you. So even when you want to garnish your building with small begging, it's better to even have built first before you qualify to beg. If you have not built, you don't qualify to beg. You see what I'm saying now? So people will come and tell me, I have a business. They will give me a long list of their business dreams, very articulate, very, very, very articulate. And then that they need about 4 million for the business. I will ask them, okay, so how much do you have? They say, actually, you know, as I always say, if you say actually twice, you're a suspect. We're still in the, you know, we've been planning things, but for now, there's nothing on ground yet. So we're just hoping that if you can help us with the 4 million, we are very sure that in 3 months, we'll be able to pay the money back. You have spent 3 years trying to start a business. You couldn't start the business. And you are promising me that in 3 months, you will pay me the 4 million for the business, for which you have not been able to save even 500,000 for. All that time you have been planning, if you are saving small. Save. I did a teaching some years ago, and I was teaching about the power of saving small. If you are saving small, you would have had something to show for the investment that you needed. And you'd have won the confidence of potential investors from what you have to show. But many people have nothing to show because they have not committed to any form of savings. So, the last thing I will say again is, like I said, savings is a type of investment. So when you save money, in a way, you are building an investment. It's an investment. Because that investment gives you the power to choose. It gives you the power of options. And you'll see that later when I teach you the next episode about the cash portfolio. It gives you the power of options. Because when you don't have money, you lack options. Part of the advantage of financial freedom is that financial freedom gives you options. You can choose. But when you don't have financial freedom, when you don't have liquidity, you lack the ability to choose. So savings is an investment that empowers you with choices. So when you save money, you are actually investing. In a way, you're investing. Because you are building something that can claim for you a desired future with improved benefits. Does that make any sense? All right, so let me stop here. I'm out of time already. And we will continue the next episode where I'll be digging deeper into the concepts of investments and the various forms of investment. Is that okay? All right, guys, thank you and see you on the next one.